Hello students, welcome to this session. So today we are going with the third lecture, which is we are discussing about atomic structure, which is of Pearson module. So today in this session we will be discussing about the protons, discovery of protons. In the previous classes we have discovered about the discovery of electrons and how the cathode ray tube works. So if you want to check those videos, you can check in the description given. Yeah, I have been given the links for it. Okay, so now let's start the discovery of proton. So this is the setup which has been made. So you know that this is a cathode ray tube, right? So we have learnt about what is a cathode ray tube. Okay, so let's start. What is discovery of proton? So the presence of proton. So where does the protons are present? We know that this is the nucleus. In the nucleus we have proton and we have neutron, and around it we have electron, right? So this proton which has been present in an atom, this was being predicted by Goldstein. He is the Goldstein. He has given the prediction that this proton has been present, okay, and it has been having electrically neutral. Okay, the atom that is also having the proton, with that proton there is something which is called electrically neutral atom. Okay, so by generally we say that in a nucleus we have proton, atom has nucleus, and in that nucleus we have proton and neutron. When at the time of discovery of proton, that time nucleus was not discovered. Okay, that time they were only discovered that discovery of proton, how the proton is, what are the properties and all. By the help of these protons and electrons and electrically neutral, then after the discussion of nucleus has come. Okay, right. So electrically neutral in the nature necessarily possess positively charged particle to balance the negatively charged electrons. So what are these electrons? Electrons are always negatively charged particles, right? So the discovery which has been made by Goldstein was done by the cathode ray experiment. Okay, so which is conducted by using perforated cathode. So perforated cathode is what? So in the cathode which we were using, in that cathode there are few holes. Okay, the electrode, it is having a holes. So in the discovery of electron, we have put the screen beside the anode. Okay, so now that is a green screen, right? That is a green screen. Now for the discovery of proton, we were been placing the screen which is beside the cathode, that is perforated cathode. In that cathode there are, you can see this, these are the holes. Okay, so when the light is being reflected on the screen, when we were discussing about the electrons, it was glown in a green color. When it is the time of discovery of proton, it was there, the reflection is gone, shown in a red glow. Okay, so how do this experiment confirms the properties of cathode rays? Okay, when an object is being placed, okay, so think any object. Okay, the object is being placed. Okay, for suppose here I have placed an object. Okay, so this object, okay, this shadow is being formed. Okay, what is it? This is properties of anode rays. I'm sorry. Okay, right. So I have placed the object over here. Okay, that shadow is being reflected over the another side. So by this what we can say? We can say that the rays is traveling from anode to cathode in a straight line. That means here I have been placed, the shadow is been reflecting the other side. That means the rays are passing in a straight line. Okay, next what we is there? For suppose I have put a wheel. Okay, what? I have put the wheel in between the cathode and anode. Okay, now the wheel has started moving. Okay, what it is started moving. So what does this suggest? This suggests that the rays are having some mass. That means the electrons are, sorry, from the anode, whatever the rays are being coming and striking on the wheel, okay, by that means that wheel, that rays are having some mass, okay. So that is why this wheel could start moving, okay. By that, what we can say the first point is, it is the rays are passing in a straight line, and next one is what, the rays are having some mass, right? Next one, when applied an electric field, the rays are bent towards the negative terminal. That means I have placed an electric field over here, okay. So when the rays are being passing, okay, this anode rays, it are positively charged, right? So when the rays are passing, it is getting close to the cathode. So cathode is what, negatively charged, right? So what is that, that means the rays, whenever it is passing, it is being deflected, okay, it has been moved to the negative terminal, okay. By this, what we can say, positive is coming towards the negative. We already know the discovery of electron, that means that is negative charge, the cathode is negative. But some rays which are being moving towards the cathode, when it will be moving towards the cathode, when the oppositively charged particles are there, right? So by this, what we can say, anode is of positively charged. Anode is positive in charge, right? Next, when you apply a high voltage, okay, what, when you apply a high voltage, a red light is observed, okay. When a red light is observed behind the cathode ray, what, behind the cathode ray, that means what you can say, that anode, it is some, since it was being traveling from anode to cathode, it is known as anode rays. So when it was being discovered at the electrons, you could see green color. When you are being discussing about the protons, that is anode rays, the rays, it is being reflected. When you apply a high voltage, you could see the red color glow. What is it? Red color glow you can see at this side, okay. So instead of normal cathode plate, he used cathode plate with holes having fluorescent screen, as I already told you. So you have been placed a cathode ray which is having holes, so that is perforated cathode. So here are the few properties of anode rays. What is that? Properties of anode rays. Anode rays travel in a straight line, right, by placing an object in between the cathode and anode. Anode rays possess positively charged, since they are found to deflect towards the negatively charged electrode, right? So by this, that means, when did we solve this? When we have placed a electric field, this is applied when the electric field is applied. The properties of anode ray depends upon the nature of gas taken in the discharge tube. So what here, in the discharge tube, we use the gas. Generally we are using hydrogen gas. So that rays also been depending upon the gases that are being present in the discharge tube, okay. So the mass of the particle was the same as the atomic mass of the gas inside the discharge tube, okay. So for suppose I am taking a hydrogen gas. So if I am using the hydrogen gas, the particles in the discharge tube will also be of hydrogen. That means it will be same as the mass of the particle that is present in the gas. That means that is present in the discharge tube, right? So here are the few properties of anode rays. So what is the mass of a proton? So generally we know that the hydrogen atom 1 mole is 6.022 or 23 into 10 to the power of 23. Okay, this is power of 23. Okay, that weighs, okay, how much it weighs? 1.007 grams. So thus each mole of proton of one hydrogen weighs 1.07 grams. So by dividing the weight of a proton with a mole number, we get how much? So this is the mass of proton. Okay, so that means thus the mass of the proton is 1.6737 into 10 to the power of minus 24. The mass of neutrons is 1800 times that of the electron. That means you can say not neutrons, you can say protons. So protons are having more mass. Okay, so when at the time of when we have been taking the discharge tube, but in the diagram it is shown like this, it is being placed far away, but generally the discharge tube, it was placed very close. Okay, that means if here is the cathode, okay, here is the cathode, the anode is placed very close to the anode. Okay, why? Because the proton's mass is 1800 times more than an electron. So that is why they have placed the electrodes very close to each other. Okay, so how, like, okay, so this is what about mass discovery of proton. We already discussed about electron. We have discussed now with the discovery of proton. I hope you understand this video. Thank you. We'll meet in the next class. Bye bye.